Hello, I'm going to show you how to replace the turntable belt on one of these all-in-one record systems, or at least on this specific model. For my specific problem, the turntable belt broke. And the instructions on this thing basically give you no indication of how to fix it. They don't seem to want you to, and on the back it basically says, please don't open. Now, because I've already done a lot of this process, some of this video will be backwards. So for instance, I've removed the record player that they really don't want you to. And then as I put it together, I'll indicate how I took it apart too, which is something they don't really want you to do. So having the record player already out, the main thing here is like, there's the turntable belt. You can see it threading through. And underneath this that's basically the motor. And you can see the belt winding around the part that the motor turned. And that's basically all that there is to this. So you can find belts online if you just search for the model number. They basically come with no guarantees, but this one was about $10 and it works so far as expected. I've managed to plug it in while it's taken apart, and it's played some stuff as expected. Getting the belt on is a little bit easier than I thought. For this model, because the motor is here, feeding it first through this section seemed to work, and using gravity to catch on the motor rotator and then sort of working it around the rest worked best. Getting it through this section was easier than I thought, but that might be a little tricky. But it wasn't so bad. And this is in general what the whole thing looks like. So this controls the stylus arm. It's pretty elegant in how small it is. And so now I'll show you what the inside looks like. And first, while I have this here, these are the component that basically makes it hard to take out. And so that was definitely tricky. So what they do is some of the casing is literally sitting right on top of here. So you basically have this wedged into wood, and that's what prevents you from taking it out. And I was able to take this one off with a bit of work. But getting that off is all that you need to do to get the whole thing out. And I'll show you that as I put it back in. This is what the unit looks like with the record player removed. This is one of the notches I pointed out where that post sits through here and then the bracket keeps you from lifting it up. But yeah, it's a little interesting to look inside. There's the cassette tape, and then that's just all the electronics for like the CD player. It's like largely kind of empty. All right, so I fit it back in, and you can see the one binder there is sitting, so it's fitted under the wood. And now what I need to do is this one right here, just put the clip back on and hope that it works. And this is also the clip that's underneath that is attached to the screw that is supposed to tighten it for whenever you move the unit. All right, and there it is. It's actually easier to put back on than I anticipated. It was difficult to get off, but I had used some needle nose pliers to pull down the bottom part to basically pull down this part, and that let me slide it off. It did crack a little, but it doesn't seem to matter. But that resistance is all that's like keeping you from taking it out, from just pulling it out. So all you need to do is take one off. The next thing you'll have to do is reconnect. Well, when you take it out, you'll need to disconnect the power. And that, I probably should have done this before I put it back in, but shouldn't be too big of a problem. But that's basically this. And when you take it out, just remember, a lot of times these things force the orientation on you, but it's also easier if you just remember how it was oriented, and mine was white on the outside. So I'm gonna put it back in this direction. All right, well, I plugged it in. You know, it's plugged in right there. It was really easy to get back in. I plugged it in, just gave it a test, and it all works as expected. So then the last part with all of this is, you know, going back and undoing the beginning, which is just putting this panel back in place. And now with mine, while there is a screw in the middle, you do not have to take that out. However, it is glued, that thing. So even if you take the screw out, I don't know that you're gonna be able to get that off. So the one annoyance is that when this panel is open, it's basically hanging by the cables for the aux in. But just letting it sit there or trying to maneuver it, which is easier when the other one's off, will help you out there. But that's basically how to fix it. And then of course, make sure you unplug it before you start any of this. So good luck. And while it does not contain any user serviceable parts, I was able to service it.